From the dawn of man, indigenous people from every corner of the globe have spoken of things that have now been discounted as myth or legend. Things they saw, lived alongside by, were looked upon as deities or worshipped by gods. Things that present-day man refer to as entities, spirits, demons, cryptid creatures, extraterrestrials, and much more. But sadly, modern man, science and society has discounted what our ancestors spoke of as legend and myths. But there are those of us that know what the ancient ones spoke of is the truth. Those of us who are obsessed with finding out the truth. This search for answers brings us into the world of the unknown and unexplained. It brings us on the trail, in search of living legends. Please join us tonight in another part of our journey to find these answers and bring the truth out into the light. Welcome and thank you for listening.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to On the Trail in Search of Living Legends. It's going to be season 8, episode 2. Can you believe that? Episode 8 already, man.
And today is
today is 10/11/25.
Yeah.
So we've got a great guest for you guys tonight. Nick, I'll let you introduce our guest.
Okay, our longtime friend Carter Buschardt is coming on with us tonight. He's going to talk with us about his book, Baptized by Abduction. Carter is a cryptozoologist, a researcher of cryptids and specifically Sasquatch, Bigfoot. But this is taking a little different twist. I mean, like Carter, I started with the paranormal, and then I zipped over to UFOs and things like that, and then I finally settled on my main love, which is cryptozoology. But Carter's got something different here today. I mean, we'd like you people to hear about his new book. You can get it. We're going to be pushing it on all the different sites that we have. So Carter, how you doing today? Good?
I'm stunning.
You look it. Your head's not shiny, but you look it.
Well, thanks for lying, but that's great. I appreciate it. No, all's well. We went and adopted 2 cats today.
Oh. How old?
6 months.
Okay.
Oh boy. How many did you get?
2.
2?
We lost both our cats 3
Oh.
weeks apart.
Sorry to hear that.
About
man.
a month. Yeah, it was just weird. Just really weird. One of them was terminal with cancer. He was really bad off. He was, it was time for him to go. He was about 14 years old. The other one was younger, and he died of a broken heart because that was his brother. So
Right.
he knew nobody else except this other cat that passed right before, and 3 weeks later he died.
No, that's too bad.
Yeah, it was just weird. One of those weird, like, oh my God, I've never, broken heart. People die of breaking heart, but yeah, the cat.
Yeah, they can when they're together.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so now it's been a good day. Just I've been looking forward to doing this, talking about the book and everything, because it's cathartic. It's stuff happened. I had no idea when I found out. Well, I'll let you ask me. I don't know where to start, but.
Well, what I wanted to start with, it says, the title of the book, it's Baptized by Abduction. I guess that's where we could start.
Yeah.
Evidently, by the title, it's telling me that you were abducted, but you didn't know about it.
No, I didn't. I was abducted, best I can tell, between the ages of 7 and 9. Probably about 1959. I was born in 51. I didn't find out until 2004.
Jeez.
I had zero idea. And the only reason we found out, my wife and I and another couple were sitting around Friday night 21 years ago, And talking about past lives, we all thought we'd maybe had past lives and wondered how we would find a way to see if we had past lives. So, back then, 20 years ago, 21 years ago, we had a phone book. So you could pick it up and look up past life regressionist. And I'll be darned if I didn't find one.
Yeah.
So this was a Friday night. We booked an appointment, me and my wife and the other couple, for Saturday, the next day. And we went out and we were just looking, literally. I had no clue. It was just like, because I always thought I was a woman in a past life, and, Nancy and Steve, they had all kinds of hints, but no definition of what ever happened in their past life. So we all went. My wife went first. She could not go under. Some people cannot be hypnotized because of control
Mhm.
issues. Steve went next, and he had one really good regression. Nancy went next, and she had two past lives, and this is pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I'm trying to keep it
Yeah.
short, but it's really interesting, So then it's my turn, and I go under, and it takes me forever. I'm stalling, I'm stammering, I'm just, I'm fighting it, and all of a sudden I get under, and I start screaming and crying like a 8-year-old kid. Get your hands off of me. Leave me alone. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to my friend? I was just bawling. I was sobbing. And everybody in the room is just sitting there because we're watching each other get hypnotized and we're all recording. And they're just like
Right.
freaked out, and I'm freaked out. So she brings me out and I'm going, what's all these tears? What are y'all looking at? What's going on? I had no idea. And they proceeded to tell me, you just told about an abduction when you were 8 years old. Do you know, did you know about that? I said, what? I had no idea. And so we talked about it for a while, but I was,
Carter, time out for a second. I have to ask a question right now about that. Was the session being taped?
yes.
Oh, good. All right.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I've been regressed 8 times. I have all the sessions recorded.
Since then,
Awesome.
8 times?
Yeah, 8 times.
Wow.
Twice by Dolores Cannon, if you're familiar with her.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Oh, she's big, big, big. She'd be like John Mack or Bud Hopkins
Okay.
as far as, and she's got hundreds of books. She's got an office in Arkansas. Now she passed away in 2014, but
Mm.
her daughters still run the thing. And if you want a top of the line hypnosis, a hypnotist, that's the place to go because they have first, second, third, and fourth tier regressionists. The fourth tier is the upper echelon. Those are the people that get to the heart of the matter.
Right.
So anyway, my wife and I went back Sunday without Steve and Nancy, uh, just to make sure this was not a mistake. And it just got weirder and weirder and weirder. So it happened, and we got the tapes. So in the thing that it happened in front of my house when me and a buddy were riding our bikes on a hot summer day in July. I remember it clearly. And we were just racing our bikes. We got brand new bikes. We ran a stop sign in front of my house in Dallas, Texas. And this car blew by, and you could feel the wind. I mean, my shirt was ruffling our t-shirt. You could feel it. We go, oh my God, how did that car miss us? Oh my God. We're going to get in trouble because my mother, no women didn't work back then. So I knew my mother was at the home and she probably saw it and was going to get, my butt chewed, but she didn't see it. So it was a car that almost hit us. Well, it wasn't a car, it was a UFO. Are you familiar with screen memories?
Yes. Were they implanting another memory into you?
Yeah. All
Okay.
my life, now this is the really bizarre part. All my life from that day until I was 20, in my 40s, because I didn't find out until 2004, at which
Right.
age, what time I would have been 53. So from the age of 9 to 53, I had zero idea
Wow.
So, but I find out that this car that almost hit us was a blue 51 Buick Roadmaster.
Yeah.
My grandparents in Houston, Texas, had a blue 51 Buick Roadmaster. They took that memory, put it in my head so that I saw, and Craig, the guy I was with, we saw a 51 Buick, but it wasn't a 51 Buick. It was a UFO. I later, through another regression, did see the craft. I did see the craft and all that. But here's the deal. From 20, 25, 30 years old to 53, I was selling real estate. So I told this story not knowing anything about it. When you go into, a sales meeting, or you go into a bar, you go to a happy hour and you try to, you have a big meeting with other realtors, you're trying to get business and network and all that kind of stuff. You know, we always get to talking. Well, what's some of the stupid things you did as a kid that almost got you killed? So I always told the story about me and Craig running the stop sign and almost getting run over by a car. Because until 2004, I didn't know any better. I didn't know it wasn't a car. So I told
Right.
the story hundreds and hundreds of times. What'd you do? Well, I stuck my finger in a light socket, or I stuck a coat hanger in an outdoor light socket and almost got, everybody has a story of stupid things you did that should have got you killed. So I told that story until 2004 when I found out. It was the weirdest thing. I had zero idea that this had happened. It was just the craziest thing, And the kid that was with me, uh, I knew him. I went to school with him. He lived in my neighborhood. There's so many ironic things. I'm born September 16th, 1951. Craig, was born September 16th, 1951.
Wow.
Another kid in my neighborhood, Gordon, who I did a lot of hunting and fishing with, I was in Boy Scouts with him. Guess what his birthday is? September 16th, 1951. You got 3 kids in my neighborhood. If
That's
you're going
crazy.
to abduct humans for genetics or any other thing, your perfect control group, you've got the same age, same height, weight, everything. You've got 3 boys, September 16th, 1951. Whatever you do to one, the other 2 should react similarly if you're going by genetics and birthdays and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that was it. Now, Craig, I knew him. He and I were grounded from speaking and hanging out with each other because in our early teens, late single, like 12, 13, 14, 15, uh, we set his parents' garage on fire by accident. We're setting off bottle rockets. We're about behind his garage, and the wind blew the bottle rocket back and burned the back half of his parents' garage down. Well, you're never going to hang out with that Buschardt boy. He's too much trouble. He's a bad influence. Well, my parents said the same thing. You're not going to hang out with that Craig boy. He's a bad influence. So we never got to hang out after that. But I tracked him down. This is the weirdest part. And this is how I know I found him. There's like 11 Craigs with his last name. I'm not going to say the name.
Right.
All over the country. It was real easy when I started going down the list. There was only one that had the same birthday. And this guy was living in California now. So I paid a couple extra bucks, got his phone number. I called him up. Hey, Craig, this is Carter Buschardt. You may not remember me. We grew up together in the same neighborhood, Dallas, Texas. Yeah, I don't know if I remember you. He didn't, he denied everything. I think the screen memories were still working on him.
Mhm.
As I found out when I went under regression, my screen memories were wearing off because the aliens. Do you know anything about hypnosis? When you
A
go
little bit.
under, you're talking to your supreme high consciousness. You're talking to Jay or Nick. You're talking to your highest subconscious, the part of you that knows everything you've ever done, good, bad, or indifferent. So the aliens are speaking through that, and they're talking, and they will say things like, "Well, you weren't supposed to remember that. How did you remember that?" And when I'm under, I'm sitting there going, "Well, because your screen memories are wearing off." Oh, well, they were like flabbergasted that I was remembering stuff. So I called the guy and I said, "You may not remember me. I'm Carter Buschardt. I went to school with you in Dallas, Texas, Thomas Jefferson High School, blah, 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 blah." He goes, "No, I've never been to Dallas. I never lived in Dallas.
Oh man.
I did live in Richardson, Texas, which is about 25 miles north of Dallas." "Well, that'll have to do for now. How about this? Have you ever been hypnotized?" "Well, matter of fact, yeah. How do you know that? Why would you? Well, I'm just wondering, have you been hypnotized?" "Well, yes, I did. I've been hypnotized a couple of times. I don't think I believe in the technology, or I don't believe that what they told me was true. So I blew it off." So here's a guy, got my same birthday. He denies going to school with me, but I know it was him. He lived in Richardson, Texas, so he said, which is 30 miles north of Dallas, Texas. He'd been hypnotized, but he doesn't remember why, and he didn't believe it, and so he just quit doing it. I said, "Well, here's one other thing. Craig, your birthday is September 16th, 1951. "Yeah, how do you know that?" "Well, I know that because it's my birthday. That's one of the reasons you and I became friends, because we thought it was cool we had the same birthday." "Oh, I don't remember that. No, I don't. No, I don't know. I didn't go to school in Dallas. I didn't go to high school with you." And
Yeah.
he denied the whole thing. But I think he truly does not remember. I think
Right.
his screen memories. He was the one that they were after. They'd been taking him for a couple of years before they caught me and him together riding bikes that one day. Once they started taking me, they took me every time they took him, because I had what they needed for genetic manipulation. They used us for hybridization, taking our DNA and mixing it with ETs to get a boiled down version of the ETs. The thing they're looking for mostly is our personality and our soul. You know, we have emotions. We care about each other. They do not have the same care and love of their fellow aliens like we do.
Right.
They progressed all that out of their being when they became so technically advanced. They just didn't have the emotion anymore. It's just like us. They're saying you had the powers we have. You right now are inventing ways to do things for you, and you're losing touch just like we did. We built computers that does things for us. We've got cars and things that take us places, airplanes. We've got all these things, computers that help us live our lives, but we don't have the powers, psychic abilities, other things that we used to have back in the uh, golden days of uh, what was the Atlantis?
Yes.
We had the powers. We had powers and skills, levitation, walking through walls, spiritual. I mean, we had all that. We invented things to do things for us. So we lost touch with who we were. And that's why the ETs, I was told, were coming back for me because they want our soul. They used me for genetic manipulation. They used me, to make babies, human hybrids,
Wow.
and Craig too. It's just how many times can you have a coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence. It's a serendipity, whatever it is. This guy has the same birthday as me. I got the same birthday as him. There's another kid in the same neighborhood. I saw him when I was being taken a few times, and I just thought he was with me. I couldn't find him, but I could have sworn Gordon was taken with me a few times. So that's how this all got done. Then I started going back to the Dolores Cannon and finding out, uh, when I was a kid. Do you ever have recurring dreams?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I always had this dream. When I was a kid, I was sleeping on the top bunk of a bunk bed. My brother slept below. I was up on top. And I had this dream. I thought it was a dream of little gray robots walking down my hall from my parents' bedroom past my bedroom, but then they turn around and come back and come into the bedroom and take me and do whatever they're going to do. Well, I kept seeing this, and I'm a kid. I thought, well, I'm eating a bunch of sugar, too much crap, so I'm seeing a bunch of weird stuff. I saw these gray robots all the time, and I just thought they were a dream I had because I was a kid, watching too many weird movies or whatever. So I saw these gray robots. Well, they were the ones who came and got me. They were the hybrids, the little gray, the little 4-footers. They're not
Mhm.
the tall 6-footers. I mean, they're the hybrids between the real grays and robots. So they do a lot of the grunt work for the actual tall grays. I saw them so many times, and I figured out finally that what they were doing, and I saw this for real. They were going into my parents' bedroom and clicking them off, so they would not see what was happening to me. And
Wow.
the very last time I was hypnotized, which would have been, I want to say, October of last year, I was shown the alien that took me and put my parents to sleep. I was on because I've been regressed so many times. This last hypnotist said, "Well, we can bypass a lot of this. You're getting very sleepy. You're getting very sleepy. You're going to go to the cloud, and you're going to step up to another cloud. You can bypass a lot of that because I don't need that. I can be suggested to get under much quicker. So it's a lot more uh, time sensitive. It makes sense to do it this way. So she got me under, and I walked down the hall and saw my parents. I'd never seen this before, asleep. My mother was facing the bedroom window, looking out onto the street. She was on her side, on her left side. My father was like a robot. He was like stiff as a board. He was like a corpse almost. He was arms by his side, legs by his side. He's fully clothed. He was on top of the bed. My mom was underneath the covers, wearing her robe, but he was there just stiff as a board. And so I'm looking at him, I'm going, well, okay, this makes sense because this is what I thought was happening. They were zapped, they were knocked out. Just, you're off.
Right.
I get a little bit closer and I start sticking my head in the door of their bedroom. I look over to the left, which is where the master bathroom is, and there's this alien. The whole time I'm standing there, he's like trying to back up. I don't want you to see me. Oh, too late. You saw me because he was back. He saw me, and I was looking. I was real cautious. I was looking. I mean, I'm under doing this. This little 8-year-old Carter, and he finally just goes and he winks at me like, and just
Oh
lets me
wow.
see him. It's got a smile on his face, and he's got all the. It looks like he had like a cucumber type head it was round and cylindrical, but it went down the back and kind of, you know, you've seen that alien look. But he had all these tubes running around. They had lights and blinking lights, and they were flashing back and forth. I thought there was fluid going through in and out of all these tubes running around on his outfit, and he couldn't back up anymore because the door to the bathroom was closed. So he was stuck sitting there going. He just had this stupid look on his face, like, "Yeah, you got me." That was all I could think of. I got him. But it was you. I've been trying to find a drawing that looked anything like it, and I can't find it yet. But so I saw that, and so that verified that they were knocking my parents out. Now, my brother was never taken. He was sleeping on the bottom. As far as I know, he was never taken. So, but they used me for genetic engineering. They used me to make babies.
So
Wow.
Carter, are you telling me that there could possibly be dozens of replicas of you throughout the world? Or
Yeah,
in the
and if you're not
alien
nice to
world?
me, I'm going to sick one on you.
My other
Yeah, no,
question was,
that's what I'm saying.
were you like, probed?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh Lord.
I was
They did the
probed.
full
I had
enchilada on
implants.
you.
I had implants. I had one implant shoved up my nose, my left nostril,
Oh,
and this gets good. And I was out front in my front yard talking to my mom. I was probably about 13 or 14, fall day, and I'm just talking to her. I don't know, we're just out shooting a breeze, and all of a sudden my left nostril just explodes, and this blood is just pumping out like, with my pulse, and this big long red booger. I thought it was a blood vessel, but it was just a nasty mass of something that was up in my sinus cavity. Well,
Right.
my implant was
it worked
ejected
its way
then.
down.
Wow.
It was ejected. They put it back in. They put another one back in within
Ooh.
a few weeks. And I know
Wow.
this because I'm getting regressed, you know, and I'm finding out all this stuff. Now, we went to see if we had past lives, and I thought I was a woman in a past life. I was. So the second regressionist that took me under, she was not so comfortable with the ET thing, although she dealt with it, but she went after the past life, and she did verify, well, you're a woman. And I was a woman in Jack the Ripper, London, and
Oh.
I saw a woman who had been butchered. Her guts were all over the cobblestone street. There was a gas lamp that was lit, for like not electricity, it was a light that
Yeah, they
was
had gas
burning
lights in the
like they did
streets,
back
right?
then. And I saw the blood running through the cobblestones. I saw her guts and everything just laying open everywhere. So
Yep.
that was the answer to my was I a woman in a past life? So I did get that part of it out, but the ET stuff, I was seeing stuff that hadn't been discovered yet.
That's wild.
Yeah, the Machu Picchu. I went to Machu Picchu. I went to Machu Picchu several times on these little trips. I also went to Saturn. I hung out on the rings of Saturn. That's a whole nother story.
Holy shit.
But so
Wow.
I went to Machu Picchu. Now I went down, I saw the mountains, I saw all that, but I went down this spiral staircase way underneath Machu Picchu. And there's, just a long spiral staircase, and then you stop and you have to put your hand on this big round oil covered stone. It's at the bottom of the staircase, kind of like what's on the bottom of a baluster, a big round
Yeah.
colorless wood. Well, everybody had to put their hands on this and get read by the spirits to make sure you were good enough to come into the area below Machu Picchu. So I went in and I was okay, and I went and was walking around, look at these little palaces and little the rooms and chambers and all this stuff. That stuff, I was regressed in 2004. The stuff in Machu Picchu I just discovered was not made public, that there was a whole nother series of labyrinths and stairs and chambers. That was discovered in 2010 to 2012. I was down there in 2004,
Wow.
and I'd already seen that stuff. Now, the guy that discovered, the English guy who discovered Machu Picchu, he only ever explored the buildings that he saw. He never thought about going beneath because he just saw this, the Machu Picchu is beautiful. Why do I need to dig under there? Look at all this cool stuff I get to look at. So he didn't go under there. But it was discovered in 2012, 8 years after I'd been under there, that there was indeed passageways and staircases and a whole other part of Machu Picchu underneath. I
Carter,
just found that out a couple years ago. I just found this out a couple years ago. I had no idea.
That's wild. Let me ask you a question. Did they create Machu Picchu? Or did you, with the big
I didn't ask that. That's actually a good question. Of course, I need to go. I want to go under again, but God, that stuff's so expensive. But God, I got some questions. That's a good question right there. Did they build, because technology looks like some of those stones were melted or cut and fused together. And I mean, there's some, you've seen those joints.
Absolutely.
You flip a blade of grass in there.
Yep.
So there was something going on. So, but I saw things that weren't even known to mainstream science or the humans until 2012.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And then it just, and I've been telling this story, and I just found out 6 months ago that this stuff hadn't been discovered until 8 years after I was already there.
Wow.
It just, they took me to Saturn, and I think they thought I wanted to stay there. I had a map of the solar system on my wall right by my bed. I could, and there was Saturn. The only thing, I always looked at that map, and you had all the planets, but there's no stars. It's just the planets. Beautiful color with black background, but all the planets. I'm going, well, how come there's no stars? And so I always questioned at a young age why there's no stars. Why would I know to even question? You know what I mean? I was asking questions. I already knew that Sasquatch existed because when I saw In Search of with Leonard Nimoy on TV, I just saw the Sasquatch. I went, oh, they're real. I mean, I didn't, I talked like I knew they were real, not like I believe that. It was like, oh, they're real.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's goes, what do you mean they're real? Well, they're real. No, they're not. They can't be. No, they're not real. Okay, well, it's on TV and I'm seeing it, so it must be real. I'm still a kid, So, but I knew certain things, but I didn't. I say now I knew them because I did, but I didn't know then that I knew certain things. But I just always believed. I was never surprised when they went to the moon or went to the Mars or went to, Machu Picchu. I was never surprised about anything I saw. Star Trek was real. I was never surprised. Like, oh God, that's so cool. I'd like to go do that sometime, Well, you already done it, dude. But so, yeah, 8 times they came and took me on my paper route. They came and took me while we went fishing down at Joe's Creek in Dallas, Texas. I'm trying to think of all the stuff. I had another screen memory. Me and Craig used to go fishing, and I had a screen memory when I'm casting at this little pond, Castleman's Pond. I'd hook him in the neck, and he was going, ah, he's screaming bloody murder. He's going, oh God, stop it, stop it, stop it, Carter, stop it. That never happened. The screen memory of him getting hooked by me was because that's one of the first things I saw when I was on the craft. Craig was screaming bloody murder. They were doing stuff to his neck.
No.
And I was seeing it through this kind of gauze looking wall. It was kind of, I could see through it. It was a room divided,
Right.
but I could see the shadow. I could see him, and he was screaming bloody murder.
Opaque. Yeah.
And so I saw that stuff, but that was a screen memory. If anything else, I was the penultimate fisherman and wildlife guy. I wouldn't play with guns. I wouldn't hook my buddy. I wouldn't cast behind me without looking, And
Yeah.
that was me. That was me seeing them doing things to him. And one time when I was watching whatever they were doing to him, I was in an embryo or a cocoon, and I was standing up, and I was kind of like, I couldn't move, and he was screaming, oh God, stop it, you're hurting me. And I'm going, oh, cuss word, cuss word, cuss word. I got to get out of here because I'm next. I don't want to be in there. I knew I was next. And so, I started screaming and yelling myself, and they came over with a red laser and cut the embryo or cocoon open, and I fell out on the floor. So they let me out. After that, I don't remember anything. But there's another screen memory of me hooking him. And, we used to fish under this tree. There's no way I could have hooked him because we fished under this tree because it was real shady. It was really hot out there. It was Texas, So there's no way that never happened, ever.
Carter, you would think with all their technology that they would be able to put them out or, numb the area that they're trying to operate on. It doesn't make sense to me that they would.
He may have woke up. Why wasn't I asleep?
Yeah.
I was standing up watching.
Yeah.
And maybe they need you awake when they're doing whatever they're doing. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah.
I don't know. All I know that they were doing was getting DNA and blood. And they used me for hybridization. They told me. We used you for hybridization. When we first took you, you had everything we wanted. And so we looked for you. Every time we went out looking, we looked for you as well as your buddies. So I knew I should have been a porn star.
Damn.
But you know what I mean? I had whatever they needed, whatever that was, the right DNA, the right age, health. I don't know, but the whole thing just reeks because I know that was Craig.
Yeah.
I know I saw Gordon. I think his screen memories are still working. They're in place.
Yeah.
And mine are not. Now, one of the things they told me was that because you're a public person and you want to tell the world what's going on. I said, yeah, I do. It's not fair. You got all these memories in my head. I can't even get to them. Is that fair to a human? You may not care about that because you don't have the emotions we have, and that's what you're after. So no wonder you don't care because you don't care. You don't even know how to care.
Yeah.
But so what are you gonna do with us in the future? What are you gonna do with this? He said, well, when the time is right, you will be part of the big picture, whatever they called it. I can't remember. When it's time to let the world know what's really going on, which it seems like it's now, the way everyone's talking, but nothing's going on yet. I got this giant asteroid that's 300 times the size of the Titanic heading for the planet. You know, what's that big long thing? It's the
Yeah.
38, that asteroid or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, but you know, all this stuff has happened. I have all the stuff they need, but they won't. There's something pretty important because they won't tell me because you
Yeah.
will tell the world. So I've asked, you know, I have a list of questions I go in with and ask the regressionist to ask these questions. There's some they won't answer. A lot of the questions they would say, you weren't supposed to remember that. How do you remember that? Did you see this? Did you see that? They would ask, like, how did I see something that I wasn't supposed to see? Well, I didn't see it at the time. I saw it when the screen memory wore off. You know, that was 40, 50 years ago you put these memories on me.
Yeah.
Your stuff ain't that good. The United States of America doesn't make anything in the last 40 or 50 years, you know,
Right.
except trouble. You know,
True.
but I mean, so whatever I had, you know, they could shut it down. And that's what they did. They said, we just cannot answer some of these questions because you will want to tell everybody. Well, yeah, we deserve to know. We're your guinea pigs. Don't we get something out of the deal? And they
Right.
just kind of just sit there and give me a look, you know, uh, kind of laugh, chuckle, you know, smirk, wink at me. But they just tell me, said, you'll tell everybody. We can't have that.
Carter, would you consider them malevolent or no?
They did nothing to harm me.
Okay.
I think they've been benevolent, the
Okay.
benevolent.
Yeah.
They did nothing, you know. I know at times they were probing me and taking samples and all that other kind of stuff, and I
Yeah.
may or may not have been awake or out during those times. I don't know, you know. I would assume I was out part of the time because, well, I don't know. They're sticking things up my, you know, nose and down my throat, and who knows what else there's. You know, they got so many
Various other
orifices.
parts, yeah.
You know, they got so
Right.
many orifices, you know, so openings. So the choices are very slim, and it's kind of scary. But you know, if they were taking blood and fluids, well, that's not that big a thing, you know. But you just wonder, you know. But you know, the gestation on average for a alien is about 4 months. So when they are put in a human female, they come and get them after about 4 months, and they're taken and put in the vats that you see on the craft, and then
Wow.
those fluids, and then they gestate to the other birth time, which I think is 6 months, something in there. They give birth earlier than we do, 6 or 8 months, 6 or 7 months, something like that. And you know, they didn't show me any babies that were mine. Here's something else, and you guys would both know some of these female researchers, but I'm not
Ooh.
going to say anything. I was
Right.
contacted probably by about 25 people. More than half were women. And they all had memories of being taken out their bedroom window when they were young or teenagers, impregnated, had babies. They came back, took the babies out, and they were no longer pregnant. And by and large, the memories kind of faded with an occasional remembrance, like I have, you know.
Yeah.
And a couple of the women were virgins
Oh.
when they were impregnated,
Oh boy.
you know. But they were taking them at 14, 15, 16, 17. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, so, you know, that's not surprising that you got a 17-year-old
Yeah.
virgin. But, you know, but
Absolutely.
a lot of them had not had any kind of relations up until then.
Right.
So they asked me, I said, well, I've heard from many other women, and they're saying the same thing you are. You don't tell anybody. I want to know. And you know, they bought the book, and they go, oh my God, this happened. I've got kids in the in the universe. They're freaking out. You know, you would know them. So I mean, it's not like it's Betty in Poughkeepsie, New York, who lives in, you know, a
Right.
little cottage in the It's people who are doing what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe there's a reason they are chosen. Maybe there's a reason they got into cryptid and UFO research is because of some slight remembrance.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, why did I take this route?
Right.
I mean, I know why. And one of my sessions, the ETs are aware that I'm a Sasquatch researcher and author.
Right.
They're aware. They know, but you don't know why they took them and what they did. That they know now what happened, but why they don't remember, why they were chosen, why they get into research of cryptid or paranormal studies when they
Good question.
didn't have any leanings toward that. Because
Right.
maybe some of those memories are kind of churning around the head, and every now and then you get like a little, slap on your face. You go, oh, that's right. Oh, never mind. Now, and you go about your day. But you'll have these little. I get little snippets, but there are things I already know. That it's just a reminder, you know. Uh, and it was so bizarre. I don't know if my parents had any idea. I don't think they did. Now, here's another weird thing. My father was an aeronautical engineer. He was in the military. I've had a lot of people ask me, was either of your parents in the military? Because that might be a connection if you're in the military. He was an MP. He was like nothing. He didn't see any action. He wasn't a scientist or anything like that. He was an MP, so he was not on the hierarchy or the food chain. He was kind of not far up. You're an MP. Let's see your ID. Keep going. So, but I had a lot of people, podcasters and other people would say, "Well, were either of your parents in the military?" Like that's some kind of tie-in,
Yeah.
But he was not in a position to be of any importance to them or of any
Right.
value to them. He was just an MP. But he did hang around Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes came to our house one night.
Oh, wow.
So he knew a lot, but he was an aeronautical engineer. He was kind of up the food chain of Braniff. Braniff Airlines is where he worked.
Yeah.
Braniff. Do you remember them?
I don't. I think that was
Yeah,
before my
Braniff was
time.
like one of the big ones before.
Braniff,
Uh,
yes, I
and
remember
they went
that.
out of business and then they came back and now they're out, they're gone. Uh, but it's all, and see, this is the frustrating part. It's all still locked in my head. There's answers, but they will not allow me to access them unless I just get real lucky and something slips and I see it or I know it to be true and there's nothing you can do to tell me that it's not. So I don't have access unless you want to spend, $200 to $400 on a hypnotist, and they're not cheap,
Right.
you know. And I'm talking about, the top of the line ones that have been schooled by Dolores Cannon. Uh, they know how to get to the root, and I can go in with like a list of questions and just ask questions. Now I'm to that point, but that's a lot of money to spend, and you may not because they may say, well, remember that's the one I can't tell you. Yeah, so
Right.
I just spent $400 on a regressionist. And it's not about the money, but it sort of is. It's like I want answers, and it's
Yeah.
not fair that you who are not a master of my body, I am the master of my body. Well, I thought I was. I guess I'm not. You're controlling my body and my memory, so I can't get to it, even if it's on the tip of my tongue. You will forbid my brain to remember it and utter it. And they have that skill. They can do that. So I don't want to go do it and be knocked down at the head of the pass. You know what I mean? I want to know that I can get what I'm after. And I think if they're holding, but look at what's going on with the UAPs and all these asteroids and the changing of the guard, philosophically and emotionally and spiritually, the planet and the United, everything. Look at all the stuff going on. Maybe all is going to happen and I'm going to see it. It's going to be stuff I've got in my head anyway, but I don't know. And maybe all this stuff doesn't happen like it's supposed to be happening. What, 25 days or 2, 3 weeks? What, I don't know. There's a timeline for everything, you know?
Mm.
So, but that's the frustrating thing. Any abductee will tell you the same thing. You've got all these secrets and you just can't access some of them. They won't
How
allow it.
frustrating is it?
Very frustrating.
I can imagine.
I scream bloody murder at them sometimes because I'm so
Yeah.
pissed.
Yeah.
It's my body. It's my brain. What the hell are you doing? It's not fair. You use me for your science. Why can't I have knowledge of what you use me for?
Right.
I mean, it's just fair. You took my blood. What are you doing with it? Show me the ugliest baby you could find. Just tell me you didn't make good babies, so we're not doing it anymore. Lie to me, something, you know, but they continue. And as recently as, what is this, 2025, almost 26,
Yeah.
probably 2023, I think they came here and they were unsuccessful to take me or do whatever they're going to do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was in bed. I woke up and I felt like, I thought I was getting lucky. I felt these hands going under my butt and then some other hands going under my thighs
Yeah.
and some other hands going under my knees. And they were slowly lifting me out of the bed and taking me off the edge of the bed. Well, we have a king size bed. I slept pretty much on the edge of the bed anyway. How long are the arms that are on the other side of my left side? You got to have
Yeah.
4 foot, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
well, my wife at the same time gets up, is going to the bathroom, and the room is brightly lit. It's like I'm looking through it through a cloudy, dirty glass, but it's lit. I can see. And I said, Sheila, can you see this? What are they doing? Whose hair? What's going on with my? What are they doing to me? They're getting me off the bed. She just walks in like she doesn't hear me. She goes into the bathroom, and while she's in there doing her business, I'm still getting further and further closer to the edge of the bed. I think I'm going over here, and she flushes the toilet. They drop me, whoever they is, and she comes out. I'm going, did you not hear me talking to you? Did you not see what was going on? She goes, what are you talking about? I didn't see you here. You were asleep. No, I watched you get up and go take a leak. I was talking to you. The room was lit bright. No, you're probably lucid dreaming. She thought maybe you're lucid dreaming. Well, that could be an answer, but tie it in with all the other stuff that's going on in my life. That's not a good answer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Just
Yeah.
there was somebody there, and that was confirmed in my next to last hypnosis session that they were there, and they were there to do something. You were visited at your home in 23 or 22, somewhere in there. So I'm still on the hit parade, baby. You know, they're still gonna come get Uncle Carter and do whatever they're gonna do to him. Is that just bizarre?
It's very, very, very bizarre.
Is it hard for you to grasp?
It's hard for me to grasp, but it's not hard for me to believe it. I mean, you're as credible as they come, man. So
Well,
I'm
if it was somebody else, if it was Nick telling you the story, would you believe it?
Oh, Nick, yeah, you and Nick, no problem.
But like another
Any
guest.
regular Joe? Yeah, probably not.
See, it's just, and I'd take a polygraph. It's just bizarre, 8 regressions. Dolores Cannon, who, if you look her up, she was a goddess. She died in 2014. No, she died in 2010. No, 2014. I went to see her in 2005, 2010. She died in 2014. She has written dozens of books and all about abductions and spirituality and all of that. She wasn't cheap either, but I was doing good at the time. I paid her money and went down to Arkansas to her little gas station. She had a little gas station that was turned into an office. Pretty kind of funky little thing, like
Sure.
20s, 30s, old gas station kind of
Oh, that's
stone.
beautiful.
Anyway, but if you read up on her, she's like the goddess of all this stuff.
Yeah, I've heard the name. Yeah.
So so it's no doubt it happened. I got 8 regressions, 6 different women. This stuff happened.
Yeah.
I've got tapes on every one of them. That's how I wrote the book, was I transcribed the tapes from cassette
Mm-hmm.
to a digital format, and then I digitally programmed it into the Word document, and it just spits them out. I'm typing,
Yeah.
and it's filling, but anyway, that's where there's no pictures, there's nothing. It's all, I think it's, what is it, 300 pages? 366 pages.
Yeah.
But it's all my regressions except for the last one. The one I did, the very last one, this book was already getting printed, but it happened. It's how many other people you know somebody right now, somebody listening to this show whenever it gets played back is going to go, "Ah, that happened to me."
Absolutely.
Uncle Bobby used to say the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
invariably every time I do an interview, I get a call or an email or both or something. Oh, uh, can I get your book? And they go, "Oh my God, I got to talk to you." And half the time, somebody's going, "Oh my God, I don't know how you deal with this." I'm just now remembering. I've only been hypnotized once, and I'm just now remember. I'm starting to remember all this. It's all flooding in. So I wish it would happen to me that way, because you've got probably a better conduit for your brain to communicate with you, because I don't probably did do too many drugs in the '60s, you know. But well, that's true. But some people, they go under once or twice, and it keeps vomiting information.
Yeah.
I have to kind of, because I know they're clipping me off. They're cutting me off at a certain level.
Yeah.
I can't say this, that, the other. And I have some really good questions. I think I know they have, but by virtue of the fact they won't answer the questions, I know what the answer is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was inconsequential, you'd tell me.
Right.
Oh, that means nothing. That has nothing to do with anything. But if it's important and you're, shushing me, well, then I know I'm on the right track. I just have to guess. That's kind of frustrating.
Right.
But so, I mean, there's lots more, but we're already at their hour. But I mean, that's, and I had no idea up until 2004 when we went to that hypnotist. And here's the funny part. She's now a good friend of mine. I ran into her at a conference. Her booth was right next to mine. And we reconnected after my regression with her.
Very cool.
I went under with her again. But she had just, that night we were there, she had just gotten her hypnotist license that week. We were her like 4th or 5th. And she had no idea what to do. Because somebody going, but they know they're cutting me as an alien. He's got me on. And she's like, what do I do? She had no idea, because she thought we're going to be talking about I was a leprechaun in a previous life or something weird.
You're right.
Now she's getting a reduction and an alien abduction, and they're sticking stuff up my orifices and doing all kinds of stuff. So, but we had a good laugh about that, because I got her too. I never heard from Rick, Steve, and Nancy. Never heard from them again.
Never again, huh?
Nope. And Nancy was the wife of my ex-comedy partner. He passed away a few years before that, so we were tight.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, but her and her new husband, Steve, they would not return calls. They got their past lives, but my alien stuff took it off the deep end, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. It's just incredible. I want to bring you back on. I want to finish this conversation at some point. Bring you back on in the near future. This is just incredible. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, it just, the thing with Craig, I know it's him. I think he knows something happened.
Sure.
I just, September 16, 1951, how many, and we burned down his garage. I mean, I got all the stories that go with it.
Yeah.
And he remembers nothing. And I live close to Dallas, but I didn't go, they may have moved to Richardson, Texas to get away from this bad Buschardt boy. I don't know.
Who knows,
He
right?
didn't go to school where I thought he went,
Carter,
Right.
we gotta go, but we gotta have you back again to finish the second half.
Yeah,
See
definitely.
if we can get abducted again between now and then, and this way we can, have some more
Talk
updates.
about that.
Well, I'm gonna grab one of you guys, take you with me.
There we go. Hey,
who wants to be violated?
Bring us both.
Yeah, it's it's a joke, but maybe it's almost not. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah,
it's so weird for me to, I'm walking around every day. I go shopping and look at the tomatoes and look at the eggplant. And, oh wait, that's what the alien looked like. That it shoulder taps you every now and then. It's always there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you guys go, but this was fun. I mean, it's always a good.
It was awesome. It's always a pleasure, Carter. Always a pleasure having you on, man.
Yeah.
Jay?
But we appreciate it. Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah.
Jay, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you guys.
Well, we can talk about him now, can't we?
Anyway, I'll say goodnight to everybody then. I can't hear.
I think he's got something hanging off his nostril.
Carter, hang on when we hang up. I'm gonna see if I can fix this
hang out for a minute, Carter, after we cut the recording.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll be back next week. We've got a great guest coming on next week. So be looking forward to that. I'm not going to spoil it and tell you who it is, but it's a great guest. So we will see you next week. Everyone have a good night. God bless, and everyone be good to each other.
Good night, everybody. Lock your windows.